What is real for you today?
What is new and real, and it goes right along with the title of this series, which is Life Happens and Then You Grow, right? Because one of the things I love about these transformational periods is that they're all about growth. And I think a lot of times we have expectations of what our transformations are going to look like, the best laid plans and all of that. And most of the time life will show up and say, no, I've got something else in mind for you. And so that's what this summer was kind of about for me. I was running a group coaching program with 6 amazing women who had their own transformations in the area of lifestyle and health and fitness and weight loss. And I ended up taking on a lot of different projects. I had started 2022 with the idea that it was going to be about clarity and focus and simplicity. And I ended up doing what I often do, and that is not saying no to things that came my way. And so um, it was serendipitous almost that all of these things sort of piled on my plate together. They were all interrelated, different projects. I've been working with a company in Switzerland, helping them create a membership site and writing articles for them. I've written some new ebooks. I've done a lot of live training with my Facebook group. I've been studying. I'm recertifying as a master health coach. So that's been taking up a lot of time. And on top of all of that, I was offered a position to help a well-known company. And I've been doing that now full-time as well for a little while. So all of those things combined together, I did exactly what I advise my clients not to do, which was to end up working like 14 and 16-hour days for about 3 months. So I learned some very big lessons through the process.
And through that, what I like is earlier you said the power of saying no, or something that kind of came up for you again. And just in our outside podcast conversations, we often talk about meditation. So hopefully you can kind of combine the two, and how much clarity you gained through starting a meditation practice this summer, and then how that led to a more clarity of saying no and prioritizing yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point, because for years I've talked about wanting to meditate. And I've done it a few times. I maybe have gotten as far as a whole week of doing a meditation every day. But I always had this vision that I had to go up and lay on my massage table with my special little spiky mat, and I had to put all the conditions just right, and it had to be for 15 to 20 minutes every day in the right circumstances. And I just never did it. I was never able to do it consistently. And I know how much good it does. And one of the courses I was writing for this Swiss company, we talked about the importance of rest and recovery. And I know from personal experience how important that is. So I just said, okay, this is time to draw a line in the sand. And one of the habits that I was teaching to my coaching group was to spend 10 minutes of quiet time every day, whether that's taking some deep breaths, just sitting quietly, walking in nature, meditating, whatever it was. And I thought, all right, I'm not going to ask anybody to do something I wouldn't do. So I found an app called Insight Timer, and I'm not, trying to promote specific products. I know there are a lot of great apps out there, but I really liked it because it's free. I don't have to pay for the pro version. There are thousands of meditations available, so you can find someone you really enjoy. And there are meditations in there, seriously, that are 3 minutes long, and there are meditations there that are 90 minutes long. So it just felt a little more freeing to know that I could do something brief. So I got into the habit of doing that. And even though I'm currently on my longest streak of 36 days in a row, even though that's my longest streak, I actually have only missed a few days in the last few months. And the busier I got, the more important that time became for me. because I found that the more I did it, the more clarity I had mentally, the more able I was to focus on, okay, I have all of these things to do. And I know that as a human being, it isn't physically possible to do them all. And it helped me prioritize better. It helped me do it in a way that made sense, with better focus, so that it was, and I was allowed to give myself permission to let some things go, which I think prior to starting this practice, I hadn't done, I don't know, in years. And it's always been a struggle for me. So the meditation has been one of the biggest changes for me, and one of the best changes for me. It also got me to a point where I realized, okay, I can't keep up this pace anymore. 14 or to 16-hour days. I'm 58 years old. My body and mind are like, this isn't what we're about. And so as the year winds down and my projects are finishing, I've made that promise to myself, and I've meditated about a lot of the choices that I want to make. And it's become very clear to me which things I want to hang on to, and which things I really need to let go, or which things I can say, I can give you this much time, and here are my boundaries. Because I think that's something we don't allow ourselves to do. And this isn't, I don't mean to be sexist, but especially women, because we feel like we have to take on all these other responsibilities for looking after the house, for looking after people, for looking after, whatever, running the family, for looking after all of the organizing things and the administrative functions, everything else in addition. And so, having the freedom to set some of those boundaries and learn to ask for help, I don't think I would have done it as well. I still am it's a work in process always, but I don't think I would have done as well without the meditation practice, because it's been a big struggle for me most of my adult life.
So it sounds like you spent a lot of time sort of reflecting on, okay, here's this year, and this is what I want it to be. And it sounds like you almost, right. And this is not good or bad, because me, I never think anything is good or bad, but it sounds like you interrupted your own desire, right? Like you had this plan, but then all these other things came up. And so I guess my question is there anything that you would have done differently? Or is there anything I shouldn't say do, but is there something now in the future? You talked about like having more boundaries. So if the same experience happened to you now, after having your past experience, what would you do differently?
I think I would allow myself to take a bit more time to reflect on it and review, continue to go back to my personal values and ask, how does this match up with my values? How does this match up with my priorities? And make a decision for the path that I want to take and stick to it. Even though these beautiful opportunities and shiny things syndrome, these things come up and are dropped into my lap. It's exciting, but even though it's hard to say no to some things, I have to make the decision that's best for me. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I realized, and one of the things that happened over this, with life happening, is that two of my clients who are in their 40s and one of my coaches all got diagnosed with breast cancer. They're all following 3 very different treatment plans. Two of them are in their 40s. One is close to my age. And it really was kind of a reality check for me, because I'm not in my 30s anymore. And so thinking that all this stuff can happen later, or I can just cram it all in, there's so much that I missed out on. Being able to spend time with my husband, being able to go paddleboarding the way I wanted to go, because I was putting all of my time and energy into my work. And if something happened to me tomorrow where I could no longer do those things, I think I would be very angry with myself, because the work is important, because it's about service to other people and helping people live healthier lives. But I know not going to be any good to anyone in that context unless I'm living a healthy, happy life myself.